Let's use our watercolor pencils for a wonderful birthday or even a Happy New Year card. And I've pulled out Daffodil Delight, Blue, and Melon Mambo. And I have a piece of our Fluid 100 watercolor paper. And we're going to just start by coloring. And we're going to start with our yellow, which is our lightest color, and that's going to go in the middle. And we are just going to color and lay down some fairly nice, bold bits of color. When you're coloring with watercolor pencils, color in a circular motion and just go over it a few times. You don't have to press super hard because it's just going to put a whole bunch of pigment onto the paper. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to put a little bit of my Melon Mambo down on the end, and you want to overlap it and you want to make it nice and big. And you can see I'm not using any particular kind of technique here. All I'm doing is coloring in sort of nice, big, sort of oval kind of movements. And I'm just blending it one right into the other. And you can get a little bit darker if you want, just by pressing a little bit more. Don't worry about going up or down. And then we're going to go in with our blue on the end. And here I'm just going to start off and then go back in. So we're creating a couple colors. We're creating oranges over here and green over here so that you can always get more colors out of your colored pencils than you maybe thought you did or had. And we're just going to create a nice big area here that has some real pigmented color. Last, we're going to go back in with our yellow and we're just going to sort of blend that a little bit more. Okay, now what you want to do is you want to just take your Stampin' Spritz, and this one just has plain water in it. And you can see that I put a little arrow on mine so that I know which way I'm going to be spraying it. And then you're just going to spray it right over top of your color. And give it a good couple sprays. We want it to blend out a little bit. And you can see that it actually intensifies in color. And you can see where these colors are going to meet. Now we're not going to use this piece as it is. So we're going to let that dry for just a little bit, and I will start on the rest of the card. So I'm pulling in some of our Gold Celebrations acetate, and you can find this in our annual catalog on page 133, and this is the 2023-24 catalog. And there are 3 different designs. There's one that has stars and sort of bits, there's another one with dots, and then there's another one that has balloons and things like that. So it's up to you which one you want to use, but I have a piece of our basic black, a regular 5.5 by 8.5 scored at 4 1/4. And I've cut my piece of acetate down just a little bit smaller, 5 1/4 by 8 1/4. And what we're going to do is we're going to score this. So I'm going to score this here. So if my piece is 8 1/4, then I want to score it at 4 1/8. So I bring it over to my 4 mark here and my 4 1/8. Make sure that my cutting blade is out of the way, and then I'm just going to give it a pretty good score. And this is plastic, so it's going to resist it a little bit, but you can see where there is a score line there now. And then pull in your bone folder, and you want to fold it along that line you just made, and we want to give it a nice firm pressing. Okay, so we're just going to place that over here. Now you can see what's cool about this paper now. It has gold on one side and it has silver on the other. So you can use either side, and we're going to go for the gold today. So I'm just going to fold this piece as well, right in half, and then this is going to sit on top of here. Okay, so now we've got a complete card here. Now what we could do is we could put a little bit of glue in the background, but that's actually going to be seen. So what I want to do instead is I want to snug that up as much as I can, and then I'm going to pull in my Crop-A-Dile. I might remember a Crop-A-Dile from a few years ago that we carried it with Stampin' Up! And it's a great tool still to have. And it has 2 hole punches, a smaller one and a little bit bigger one here. and we are going to use a little bit bigger one, and I am just going to eyeball it here. Now, I could, actually, let's mark it. Let's mark it. So if you want to use a pencil, pull in your pencil and your ruler, and let's just mark this here at somewhere sort of close to the middle. Now, when I say sort of close to the middle, we don't have to get this exact. So if I want my piece of ribbon to run from here to here, that's what we're going to use to adhere it. Let's say that I'm going to put this here at 1¼ inches in. Just make yourself a little mark, which is going to be hard to see, and then 1¼ inch in from here. And now you can be pretty assured that that is going to be in the middle. So let's take our piece of acetate again, put it as close as you can. Now it might help just to pull in an alligator clip and just hold that in place, and then you don't have to worry about holding it quite so much. So I'm just going to go in and I'm going to put my hole punch here. Now if you don't have a crocodile, you can use a hole punch. Okay, it will do the exact same thing. Now it's sort of hard to see with the glare here, but I'm just going to put a hole right through there, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side right here. Okay, whoops, I didn't quite get that one. Go in and give it another try if you miss it, because you do want to definitely have some holes there. Okay, now what we're going to do is we are going to take a length of ribbon and take about 4 times the amount up here. So what I did is I actually measured this one 4 times. I measured the amount 4 times, and we're going to come in from the inside through to the outside, and we are going to tie this in a bow. Now, if bow tying is not your thing, you can also tie this just into a knot. But I should be able to get a bow out of this. Let's pull it this way. So, if you give yourself enough ribbon. Now, you could tie a knot there to make it a little easier to tie your bow, but I should be okay to grab this here and pull. Okay, so therefore we have our little card put together. Now we are going to put a little bit of white in here. So here's your piece, pretty much all dried off. I'm just going to take that little bit of water off. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to use the Wanted to Say dies, and these are words. But what's great about them is they have the words, and then they have an outline that goes right around the words. So we have happy birthday, we have celebrate, feel better soon, and you're too kind. And we are going to be using the celebrate right here. We want both of these. And I think maybe we'll pull out some of these stars too. Okay, so we have a piece of gold, and that is going to be the outline right there. We're going to run these through our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Now, before I put my celebrate on here, I want this to be a celebrate, and it's actually fairly narrow. So because it's so narrow, I'm going to use my adhesive sheets, which make it a breeze for gluing down. So I've cut an adhesive sheet to this size, and it's just going to go in behind there. And then when I cut this, it's going to have adhesive on the back. So turn this over. I'm going to actually look at it from this side. Now there is double-sided adhesive here, so you can just get that going with your fingernail, or if it's hard for you to do that, then use your take your pick tool. And when you pull this apart, you'll see that there is glue right there. So we are going to put this on the back. I'm going to start right about here. And then I have the other backing side that I'm going to pull off here. There we go. And now we are just going to place our celebrate right across there. And I'm going to run that through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And I'm going to run this one, and I'm going to run the celebrate through as well. Okay, so what I have then is the back of the celebrate, which is going to be framing the color. I have a few of our stars, which we can cut apart or leave like that. And then we have our Celebrate. So I'm just going to pull that guy off. And you can see that we have our Celebrate here, and we're going to pull that off just with our Take Your Pick tool. And just be careful when you're pulling this off, because you want to make sure that you don't rip it. And what we have is a beautiful variegated color on our Celebrate. Okay, so now let's just put this all together. We are going to take the backing off of Celebrate, and you just have to pull it. It may even start all by itself, so just sort of gently take it off so that it doesn't rip. And then just place this down right over top. Okay, and just glue that right down. So that's glued down. Okay, and our Celebrate is going to go right over top. We're going to put it on with our mini dimensionals. We're going to put it on with our black mini dimensionals just because it's going to be on the black background. Turn that over. And that is going to go right across our card like this. And do we even need to have the stars? I think the stars are going to go on the inside. So I just have a piece of our white that's going to go right on the inside. Put that on with a little bit of our Stampin' Seal. Okay. And we're just going to add a little dab of glue or two to the stars. And I would pick these up probably with my tweezers here so that I don't get glue on my hands. And we're just going to place that right into the middle. And there we go. We are done our card. I hope you enjoyed that project. It is nice and bright and shiny. And whoever you give this to, whether it's to celebrate Happy New Year's or to celebrate a birthday, they're going to love it. Thanks very much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this project. Please subscribe to me on YouTube and be sure to head on over to my website to get a free PDF tutorial to make another fabulous card. Bye-bye.